Welcome back. You are watching Choice 2017. Many thanks for staying with us. We were on the Ruto factor. In Jubilee, you had weighed in on that. I would like, yes, just finish up.
And you cannot look at Ruto and Gusii in isolation. It's a countrywide phenomenon. It seems like Ruto has got this high appetite for making friends, or rather making political enemies. Like, for instance, when you look at the Jubilee Party primaries, a number of independent candidates have accused the DP Ruto for all their mischief. When you speak to Governor Kavogo, you speak to PK, all of them say that for some reason, because of his intense political ambitions, is the person to blame for their mischief. And you go across Kenya, if you look at a political party by the name KANU, the chairman Gideon Moi says, I'm supporting President Muigai Kenyatta. I'm not supporting the deputy president. So it seems to have made so many enemies. I mean, you see all these parties that were endorsing Jubilee, all of them for some reason, including Martha Karua, including Alfred Mutua, all of them said, we are not even supporting Jubilee, we are supporting President Kenyatta. So maybe it's probably a good time for the deputy president to take time and get the opinion leaders from all these communities and see what is really the root cause of the problem. And in Gusii, you would make very good progress if you had the opportunity to go and sit with the decision makers and sort out the issue once and for all.
Do you agree with him, Anthony?
I agree with him, but on one point that I do not agree, he didn't use appropriate words. When he talks about intense political ambition, for me, I look at it as greed. When you entirely want to lock out people purely to focus on your ambition for 2022, especially in central Kenya.
So is he concentrating more on the 2022 elections than the 2017 elections?
2022, because what he did in central Kenya and Rift Valley was purely to ensure he has his right people to help him in 2022. The other thing, from the region, actually, you can trace this back to when we had a by-election in South Mugirango. The DP was campaigning for Omingo Magara, who is one of the contestants for the senatorial seat in Gusii right now, and he is very strong. He was campaigning for him. And then we had Raila Odinga campaigning for Abraham Ochoi, the late. And then we had the current member of parliament, Manson Oyongo. And it is during that period that Honorable Simeon Nyachae organized the people in our community that we call Chinkororo to disrupt a meeting, a rally that had been organized by William Ruto and Magara. And he lost his shoe in the process, and I think his phone. And from then on, we had trouble in 2007, which has gone on to date. And that is where I can trace it from. But again, if you look at how he has conducted himself, from the enthusiasm, from the excitement, from the empathy the president and his deputy demonstrated in 2013 when they were seeking votes, when they excited the whole country, versus the arrogance, the extreme disrespect for leaders from certain regions has made communities like where I come from, they actually want to dissociate themselves from this government, absolutely. But again, I would want to inform you, despite all this, Raila Odinga will get 80 to 90% of the votes from Gusii.
We'll see how
However, on the issue of the other seats, from governor to MPs to MCAs, it is going to be a completely different ballgame. So
there's no six-piece in
There is absolutely no six-piece. And again, we may only have him as the only ODM elected member from the region.
Tabichage, you seem to have the vote of confidence there. Yes. What are the issues that will inform how Gusii will vote on August the 8th?
There are many issues. A lot of what constitute issues have arisen because of one particular challenge. The Jubilee government has been extremely strong in hardware. You do SGR, you do a farm, it doesn't, the Galana farm. You do a road, these are the things they have been talking from morning until evening. The relationship issue, which is the software, the Jubilee government has been extremely weak in relationship issues. For example, in every community, particularly in our community, when elders speak, young people don't talk when they are talking. Mzee talks, he finishes, If the kijana finds it difficult, he shakes his head and walks away. He doesn't talk in between. Now, the Jubilee government doesn't seem to believe that they are wazees who are they talking to in a manner of building partnerships, building relationships. They think, are there wazees we can send?
Yes.
Send. Yes. We can use like toilet paper and put apart. You know, in our community, using a muzee to send, to go and buy tobacco for children, and here in this context, the president and the president are actually children. So to use wazees like Obure to do the errand jobs is considered disrespectful.
So are you answering my question earlier
That's
that
one.
whether Obure will be able to convince voters of your generation, because Anthony said he and Nyachai will not be able to convince the youth to vote for Jubilee?
I want to answer your question about what will make Kisses vote for which government, whether NASA...
I wish you let me answer.
Let him finish and then we'll come to you.
There are several factors. One of them, first of all, they are not likely to vote for Obure, not because purely that he can't communicate with the youth, but also because there is something perceived as empirically self-serving by Obure and his team, because initially there was the accusations of money, there was the accusations of bribery and things like that. So part of the reason they will not vote for him is because he's seen in the context of a traitor to the Gusii cause, which has many elements. The second one is this. Chris has not been known to have many skills beyond his constituency. He's never really performed anything.
All right.
I disagree.
All right.
Beyond his constituency, yes.
Let I understand we have too much time, so I need everyone to have
as
the
a
last
candidate
word.
in Kiss County, MP Nyaribari Church contestant, I'll tell you, my feel is that the Gusii community, what are they looking for? Basics. In fact, SGR, standard gauge railway, big road networks are not a big deal. They're looking at basics. Do they have food? Do they have opportunities for business? Are their kids going to school? Is there medicine? Right now we have a problem with healthcare at the basic level. Right now we have a problem with school fees, bursaries. They're being misappropriated. Right now we have a problem about unga. You hear about the unga revolution. Sugar, simple things. Now, before you do the mega project, you want to be sure that the basic human being survives at the grassroots level. And basically, when you are talking about the village and a normal homestead, people are asking questions. You are giving us big things.
All right.
But we don't know. We can't even have a square meal of 20 shillings a day.
Okay.
So these are the issues I believe the people resonate with. And quite truly, Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, who I compare the analogy of Stalin and Lenin in Moscow. When you go to Russia, you see that when Stalin came, he started looking for people who are going to get his government. Ruto is looking at 2022, and anybody who stands on his way, he must be cut.
All right, I would want us to end on that note. I understand we don't have too much time. I would love to continue interrogating that statement you have just made, but unfortunately we'll have to end. My guest tonight, Professor Ori Tumbo, who is a political commentator, Anthony Kibagendi, politician from Kitutu Church South. We also have Dr. Chris Bichage, former Nyaribari Church MP and candidate once again to reclaim that seat, and finally Dismas Mukua, political risk analyst. Tonight we were all about the Gusii politics. How important is it, and why is it that important to both Jubilee and NASA? Next week we focus on yet another region, so stick on KTN News. Linda Ogutu comes in next with Primetime News. My name is Akisa